I coded quietly in the corner while my sister Jessica explained to her marketing team why I was even at her company's holiday party. That's my little sister, Rachel. She does something with computers. Makes websites as a hobby, I think. It's cute, she's always on her laptop pretending to work. The Pinnacle Media Group holiday party was in full swing. Open bar, catered appetizers, a DJ playing too loud music in the downtown loft. 200 employees celebrating another successful year. Jessica, as VP of Digital Strategy, was holding court near the executive table, her fourth glass of champagne already empty. I adjusted my laptop screen and reviewed the acquisition documents one more time. Everything was finalized. The announcement would go out Monday morning at 9 a.m. In 72 hours, Pinnacle Media Group would officially belong to Apex Digital Ventures. My company. Rachel's harmless, Jessica continued, her voice carrying over the music. She's been building her business for like 5 years now. Still lives in a tiny apartment, drives that ancient Honda. But she's happy, I guess. Not everyone can handle real corporate pressure like we do. Her team laughed appreciatively. Jessica had that effect on people. Charismatic, confident, the kind of person who commanded rooms. She'd been at Pinnacle for 8 years, climbing from junior strategist to VP. She made $180,000 a year and never let anyone forget it. What she didn't know was that I'd been quietly buying Pinnacle's shares for 9 months. That I owned 68% of the company through various acquisition vehicles. That her CEO, Richard Brennan, had been negotiating the sale with me personally for the last 6 weeks. Is that really your sister? Asked Kyle, one of Jessica's junior strategists, nodding toward me. She looks young. 29, Jessica said dismissively. 4 years younger than me. Always been the weird one. Parents used to beg her to get a normal job, maybe do marketing or PR like me. But she insisted on the whole tech entrepreneur thing. What does her company actually do? Kyle asked. Jessica waved her hand vaguely. Something with coding? Web design? I don't really know. He tried to explain it once and it sounded like gibberish. Not real business, you know? Not like what we do here at Pinnacle. I'd founded Apex Digital Ventures 5 years ago with my Stanford roommate. We built enterprise software platforms, specifically tools for digital media companies to optimize their content delivery, advertising revenue, and audience analytics. Our first client had been a small podcast network. Our second had been Netflix. Last year, Apex generated $680 million in revenue. We had 1,200 employees across 8 countries. Our client list included 4 of the 5 largest streaming services and 6 of the top 10 digital publishers. This year we were acquiring our 13th company. Pinnacle Media Group was undervalued, poorly managed, and ripe for transformation. Their technology was a decade behind industry standards. Their CEO was competent but lacked vision. Their executive team, including Jessica, had been making strategic errors that were slowly killing the company. We'd fix all of that. But first there would be changes. Rachel. Jessica's voice pierced my concentration. She was waving me over to her circle. Come meet my team. Stop being antisocial. I saved my work and walked over, laptop under my arm. Everyone, this is my baby sister Rachel, Jessica announced. Rachel, this is my digital strategy team. We're crushing it this year. Up 42% in client revenue. That's great, I said politely. What are you working on over there? Asked Simone, Jessica's senior manager. Jessica mentioned you have a business? I run a software company, I said simply. Jessica laughed. She's being modest. It's more of a freelance thing, right, Rach? You make websites for small businesses and stuff. Something like that. See, this is why I worry about her, Jessica told her team. She's brilliant with computers, but she has no business sense. I've tried to get her interviews here at Pinnacle. We have great entry-level positions, but she insists on trying to make her little company work. How's that going? Kyle asked with barely concealed condescension. It's going well, I said. Revenue. Jessica pressed. She loved this game, making me admit my failures in front of her successful colleagues. Come on, be honest. What are you actually making? 40,000 a year? 50. A bit more than that. 60,000? Rachel, that's barely above entry level. You have a Stanford degree. You should be making 6 figures by now. I sipped my water and said nothing. Richard Brennan, Pinnacle CEO, appeared at the edge of our circle. He looked stressed, which made sense. He'd been managing the acquisition details while maintaining normal business operations. His eyes met mine briefly and I saw the question there. Should I tell them? I shook my head slightly. Not yet. Jessica, great party, Richard said, his voice tight. Thanks, Richard. Just introducing my sister to the team. She's the computer nerd I told you about. I remember, Richard said carefully. Rachel, good to see you again. Again. Jessica's eyes narrowed. You two know each other? We've met, I said vaguely. We'd met 14 times actually. 6 in-person negotiations, 8 video conferences. Richard knew exactly who I was and what was coming Monday morning. Small world, Richard said, excusing himself quickly. Jessica watched him leave, confusion flickering across her face. Then she shrugged and turned back to her team. Anyway, Rachel's situation is exactly why corporate stability matters. Startups are risky. Most fail. But a company like Pinnacle? We're solid. We're growing. We're losing money on 3 of your 5 flagship clients, I said quietly. Everyone turned to stare at me. Excuse me. Jessica's smile had frozen. Your flagship clients. BuzzStream is down 18% year-over-year in ad revenue. MediaWave is planning to cancel their contract next quarter. And DG Content has been shopping for alternative vendors for 6 months. Jessica's face went red. How would you possibly know that? Public filings. Industry analysis. Basic due diligence. That information is confidential. Jessica snapped. Public companies have reporting requirements, I said calmly. Anyone paying attention can see Pinnacle's client base is weakening. Your technology platform is outdated. Your content management system is 3 generations behind industry standard. You're bleeding clients to competitors with better infrastructure. Kyle looked uncomfortable. Simone had pulled out her phone, probably fact-checking what I'd said. Rachel, you don't know what you're talking about, Jessica said coldly. You make websites. We run a $100 million media operation. There's a difference. You're right. There is a difference. I set down my water glass. Pinnacle Media Group generated $140 million in revenue last year. My company generated $680 million. Silence. That's not possible, Jessica said flatly. Apex Digital Ventures. Founded 5 years ago. We build enterprise software for digital media companies. Supply chain optimization, content delivery platforms, audience analytics, programmatic advertising tools. We serve over 300 clients globally, including most of Pinnacle's competitors. Simone's eyes had gone wide. She was staring at her phone screen. Oh my God. Apex Digital Ventures. Rachel Chin, founder and CEO. Forbes 30 under 30. Last valuation $4.2 billion. Jessica grabbed the phone from Simone's hand. Her face went pale as she read. The hobby coding you've been making fun of for 5 years? I continued. That's $1 billion enterprise software platform. The tiny apartment? I own the building. The ancient Honda? I prefer not to draw attention. But I also have a Tesla and a Mercedes I rarely drive. Why didn't you tell me? Jessica whispered. I tried. Multiple times. You weren't interested. You were too busy explaining to everyone how I was wasting my life, how I needed a real job, how I should be more like you. Kyle had gone completely silent. The entire circle was staring at me now. 2 years ago I invited you to our Series C funding announcement, I said. We raised $380 million. You said you were too busy with actual work to attend a party. Last year I asked if you wanted to tour our headquarters in San Francisco. You laughed and said you didn't have time to visit a startup garage. Jessica's hands were shaking. 3 months ago I asked if you'd heard anything about Pinnacle being for sale. You told me to stop obsessing over companies that were out of my league and focus on growing my little freelance business. Rachel, I didn't know. You didn't ask. There's a difference. Richard appeared again, this time with Pinnacle's CFO and Chief Technology Officer. They all looked grave. Rachel, Richard said formally. Perhaps we should step into the conference room? There are some documents that need signatures before Monday's announcement. Announcement? Jessica's voice was sharp with panic. What announcement? I looked at Richard. He nodded. Pinnacle Media Group is being acquired by Apex Digital Ventures, I said. The deal finalizes Monday morning. Apex is purchasing the company for $290 million. A generous offer considering your actual valuation is closer to $220 million. Jessica sat down heavily in a nearby chair. As part of the acquisition, there will be organizational restructuring, I continued. Richard will stay on as president of Pinnacle, reporting to Apex's chief operating officer. Most staff will be retained, though in different capacities. And me? Jessica asked, her voice barely audible. Your position is being eliminated. VP of Digital Strategy is redundant. Apex already has a global strategy division. You'll receive 8 months of severance and full benefits through the transition period. You're firing me. I'm eliminating a redundant executive position during a corporate restructuring. It's business. I'm your sister. And you spent 5 years telling everyone I was a failure. That I was playing pretend. That I needed to grow up and get a real job like yours. You were embarrassed by me, Jessica. You introduced me to your colleagues as the hobby coder, who couldn't handle real corporate pressure. Tears were streaming down Jessica's face now. Her team stood frozen, unsure whether to comfort her or distance themselves. This is revenge, she said. No. This is business. Pinnacle needs serious operational restructuring. We're implementing new technology platforms, reorganizing divisions and cutting redundant positions. Your role doesn't survive the acquisition because it doesn't need to exist. I picked up my laptop. If you'd like to discuss the severance package, my HR director will contact you Monday morning. If you'd like to discuss why your sister is successful beyond your comprehension, we can have that conversation never, because I'm done justifying my existence to you. Monday morning's announcement sent shockwaves through the digital media industry. Apex Digital Ventures acquires Pinnacle Media Group in $290 million deal, read the TechCrunch headline. The article mentioned me by name, included my background and quoted industry analysts calling it a strategic move that will reshape digital media infrastructure. My phone exploded with messages. Congratulations from colleagues. Interview requests from journalists. Investment opportunities from venture capitalists. Jessica sent 17 texts. I read the first one, I'm sorry, please call me, and muted the conversation. Mom called. Rachel, honey, Jessica's devastated. He says you fired her? She's your sister. How could you? She lost her job during a corporate acquisition. It happens. But you're the one who acquired the company. You could have kept her on. In a redundant position that serves no strategic purpose? That's not how business works, Mom. This is cruel. This is. For 5 years, Jessica told people I was a failure. She mocked my work at every family gathering. She introduced me to her professional network as someone who played with computers and couldn't handle real responsibility. She dismissed everything I built. She didn't understand. She didn't try to understand. And now she understands perfectly. Actions have consequences. I hung up before Mom could respond. Dad sent an email. Subject line, family comes first. I deleted it without reading. Jessica's final text, sent at 2 a.m. on Tuesday, said simply, I see you now. I just wish I'd seen you before. I read it 3 times, then archived it without responding. 3 months later, Pinnacle Media Group's integration was complete. Revenue was up 34%. Employee satisfaction had increased 42% after we'd cleared out Jessica's team and hired actual talent. The technology platform we'd implemented had cut operational costs by $18 million annually. Industry publications called it one of the smoothest media acquisitions in recent history. Jessica had taken a position at a smaller agency for 60% of her previous salary. I heard through mutual connections that she'd stopped talking about her little sister who played with computers. I never responded to her messages. Never agreed to meet for coffee. Never gave her the closure she desperately wanted. Some relationships don't survive reality. Some family bonds break when the comfortable narrative shatters. Jessica had built her identity on being the successful sister, the corporate star, the one who'd made it, while I fumbled with my little hobby. She'd needed me to fail. My success destroyed her entire self-concept. And I didn't owe her comfort in the ruins. 6 months after the acquisition, Forbes ran a feature, How Rachel Chin built a $4.2 billion empire while her family thought she was failing. The article detailed my journey, the dismissiveness I'd faced, and the sweet irony of acquiring my sister's company. Jessica called after the article published. I didn't answer. Mom called. Rachel, please. Jessica's struggling. She needs her sister. She had her sister for 29 years. She just didn't think that sister was worth her time. People make mistakes. And mistakes have consequences. Jessica didn't make one error in judgment, Mom. She made 5 years of consistent choices to belittle, dismiss, and humiliate me. She called my billion-dollar company a hobby. She told her professional network I couldn't handle real work. She laughed at my success to my face. She's sorry. I'm sure she is. Sorry that reality didn't match her assumptions. Sorry that her little sister turned out to be more successful than she could ever imagine. Sorry that her dismissiveness came back to destroy her career. You could forgive her, Mom whispered. I could. But I won't. I hung up and turned off my phone. Some doors close forever. Some betrayals are too complete to heal. Jessica had spent 5 years making sure everyone knew I was less than her. Less accomplished, less professional, less worthy of respect. Now everyone knew the truth. And the truth was I'd never needed her validation anyway.